Hi, my name is Jack Kennedy. I'm a cinematography student here at Full Sail University. So what propelled me to enroll here at Full Sail? Well, first and foremost, I have to say it was my dad. He was and is my greatest inspiration. He was the spark that enabled me to pursue my interest in visual arts. How do you do that? Well, single-handedly, with his sturdy Leica 35mm SLR, he documented the upbringing of his family. That's 9 kids, 8 brothers and sisters. And us being kids, being spontaneous and impromptu, gave him many photographic Kodak moments. And it was a 3-ring circus in that house. It was good for him and crazy for us. We had a lot of fun, and throughout all that, I found the way he went about photographing us and documenting our upbringing, I found fascinating and inspirational. And so later on, I ended up buying my first 35mm SLR and started recording my own moments in time. After doing that for a while, I decided to get some professional training, so I enrolled in a school here in Washington, D.C. called the Boston School of Digital Imaging Arts. It's a very reputable school, part of Boston University. And after graduating there, I looked around. I wanted to continue in school and started looking for another institution to check out, and came across Full Sail. I listened to what they said and liked what I saw, and signed up. So why did I sign up for cinematography? Well, I like movies. I like everything about movies. I like taking movies apart in my head. I like going to the movies a lot. I like Saturday matinees. Brings back memories. I also like going to movies on Friday night and Saturday night, but Saturday matinees bring back good memories for me. And I remember seeing with a brother or a sister or a couple brothers movies like Ben-Hur stands out in my mind. Excellent movie. Or Lawrence of Arabia. Thoroughly enjoyed that movie. I never get tired of watching that movie. I think it won Best Cinematography Academy Award that year. I always derived a lot of educational enjoyment out of movies. Over the years, it never diminished. In fact, it evolved and progressed, expanded. And I remember a key point in my development was when I approached my dad, and he was, everyone in the family goes to university right out of high school, and I approached him and said, Dad, I want to do 4 years Navy, U.S. Navy, instead of going to college. And he listened to me and saw the look in my eye and knew that I was serious, and that he listened to what I had to say, and that I wanted high adventure in my life. I wanted to travel. I wanted to experience life and see what was out there for me before college. And he got up out of his chair and walked over to me and shook my hand and said, "So, son, when Lynn, and where are you going to enlist? And I said, well, I already talked to a recruiter, and next month I swear in up in Baltimore, and then I get on a train and go to Orlando for boot camp. And he said, well, I'm proud of you with coming up with this decision and directing your life. I think we should go into dinner. You can tell your mom over dinner, and I think she'll be pleased. And so that went pretty smooth. And next thing I know, I'm in boot camp, and I go to the PX and buy my first serious SLR camera, and it was a 35 millimeter Nikon, I think. I was very happy with that purchase. And that was to document my time in the Navy. I knew I'd be doing a lot of traveling, and I did. Once I left boot camp, I was ordered to report to the Franklin Delano Roosevelt CV-42. That's a aircraft carrier out of Mayport, Florida. I arrived to find out that the ship is gearing up to do an immediate deployment to the Mediterranean as the flagship of the Sixth Fleet for 1 year. Being a flagship means that we have the admiral aboard our ship, and we are in charge of the fleet while we're there. That was a prestigious position to be in. I felt I couldn't be happier knowing that I was in for the adventure I was looking for. And so after a month of sea trials, preparing to go to Europe and making sure everything was ship shape and sea tight, we're up on our third day out from Mayport on our way to Europe, and we're up like east of Nova Scotia. And it's very cold outside, and I'd just gotten off work. When you're aboard a ship, the ship never stops, so you work in 8-hour shifts, and when you're not working, you're either eating, sleeping, or resting. I was on the mess decks, and this buddy of mine comes up and sits down and says, Jack, you should grab your camera bag and get your heavy coat on and accompany me up to the flight deck. There's something you gotta see. And so I said, okay, I was curious, and come up to this catwalk that's adjacent to the flight deck, and I look across the flight deck past the superstructure, which is like the conning tower for the aviation direction. And I noticed all this hustle and bustle going on the flight deck at that time, and not really realizing what's going on. I mean, I'm still new to the ship and all, but I'm looking out across the water, and sitting low in the sky. Bob is indicating, check this out. It is this huge yellow-orange globe that is sitting low in the sky, which is the moon. And it's so bright and so large that, I mean, I'd never seen anything that large in the sky before, at night, excluding the sun, but this was incredible. And not only was the moon itself incredible, but the brightness it was giving off was, you could read by the light of this moon. And the reflection from the moon on the water was pretty spectacular too. And the water itself was like glass. I think that was partially caused by the draw of the full moon. Well, here we are in the North Atlantic in September, and it's very windy out. There's no whitecaps, there's no swells, the water is like a lake. This is the North Atlantic. I found that incredible. And we're up there, in this wind, and it's so loud, you gotta communicate through sign language because you can't hear each other talk. You yell as loud as you could, you still couldn't hear. And then I noticed that it's even getting windier. And so that to me says, well, I think something's happening here, and the jets are being taxied around and being located in front of the catapult. So I'm thinking, well, we're getting ready to start night operations. Night operations is when the pilots learn how to take off and land on aircraft carriers, and if they already know, it's just practice, because you can't get enough practice in doing that, especially at night. And so that's what night operations is. And so we go back down to the mess decks to warm up and have coffee up and have a cigarette or two and just talk about what we had just seen and discuss what's going to be happening when we, our first port of call is Naples, Italy. And there's other people sitting at the table with us on the mess deck smoking cigarettes and having coffee and all the old salts, guys. And this old salt means everyone's hey, you guys are new, right? And yeah, and they said, well, you never been to Naples? No. I said, well, don't expect much. And there's not much going on in Naples. I said, well, I'll make up my own decision on that. Thank you. And I was glad I said that, in the fact that when I got to Naples, it was incredible. I mean, he was painting a picture where it's gray, it looks like rain or raining every day, and it's cold and sleet and fog and snow, and I said, well, that sounds pretty cool. And then, and all of a sudden it said, everyone has their own story, so you gotta create your own story, and I've always done that. And when we're in Naples, I just found the people very gracious and very, very, very genuine and friendly, and the weather, it was gray and snow and sleet and ice and rain, and that created so many black and white photographic moments, and I had a lot of fun with that, and it helped my education in photography and developing my compositional eye and creating strong photographs, and I was very appreciative of that and had a great time, and I was always kicking around with this shipmate buddy of mine, Bob, and he said, Jack, have you ever thought about photojournalism as a future career? I said, I hadn't given it much thought, but thanks for indicating that, and I'll keep it in mind. Then we went to the French Riviera come springtime, and the French Riviera was, the French beaches in springtime, warm weather, ooh la la, need I say more? It was incredible, very, very photogenic, and very, a lot of fun, and we were there for about 2 months, and then from there we went to the Spanish Riviera, and again Bob brings it to my attention, says, Jack, you should really consider being a photojournalist. I think you'd be a good profession. I said, well, we'll see. I'll think about it. Well, 30 years later, I'm still thinking about it, and we'll see what the future holds. All right, thank you. All right.